Day 4 of NFL free agency is alive and underway. The Broncos have not made a signing yet today, but they have been busy so far. So I thought I would take some time, grab a studio here at Chat Sports, pull producer Sam in, one of the best in the biz, the best in the biz, are you kidding me? And we would just sit down for an hour and a half, as long as you guys want to hang out, really, and kind of talk shop. Talk free agency, talk Broncos football, and talk about this team going into 2023. So let me throw this question your way while we let everyone click on the notification and get into the show. What's been your favorite signing so far? If you had to pick one, what do you think it would be? Would it be the Mike McGlinchey signing? The Ben Powers signing is, I think, a sneaky good one that might not be as exciting as a new right tackle, and hopefully a right tackle for more than just a season or two like the rest of the last 10 have been. So let me know in the comment section what your favorite signing has been. I'm going to be giving shout outs to everyone who chimes in down below. Dante King going with Ben Powers. I'm trying to get the March Madness games on here. Producer Sam and I doing double duty right now. Good to see AFX Apocalypse in the chat. That guy, keep Judy, sign CJ. You know, I don't know where CJ Gardner-Johnson's going to end up, but I wouldn't be shocked if Sean Payton is begging George Payton to, well, I don't even know if he needs George's permission all that much with the way this tournament, with the way this organization is being run now. But anywho, Sean Payton maybe wants CJ Gardner-Johnson back because he drafted him in New Orleans. Oh, Sam's about to get the big tourney on. I like it. Here we go. Alessandro, Jarrett Stidham. Apocalypse, you make me laugh. I hope you know. Jarrett Stidham said he wanted to come play with. We'll take it. There's the other game is Charleston, South Carolina. Let's do that one. True TV. My boss is going to be pissed if he sees this. Okay, Maxwell, do you think we overpaid Jarrett Stidham? I don't know, 10 million, 2 years, $5 million a season for a backup? I don't think that's an overpay, really. Other ones coming in here, let me know. Powers is my favorite signing from Scott Fry. Hey, if you're just tuning into the video, by the way, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. It's been a company-wide initiative this week to try and get some more likes on our videos to boost the signal a little bit. So help us out. Hit the thumbs up button. I'm liking the video right now because Sam freaking Brown just got Charleston and San Diego State on screen for me. I don't know what to pick with this one, my bracket. I ultimately went San Diego State because I felt like the disrespect was too loud there. So I had to fade the public. Sam, you want to chime in?
For starters, we love a good 5-12 matchup here on the Broncos Breakdown.
Boom.
Charleston just that's the ugliest shot I've ever seen in my life. So for that reason alone, I think San Diego.
Nails a three.
Hits a three right in the guy's face.
Yep. All right, next question I want to throw on screen here. Who do you want to sign next? Is it CJ Gardner-Johnson? Could it be someone else? Let me know in the chat right now who you would like to see Denver go out and sign next. They have already spent a ton of money. I mean, like over $200 million. So let me know if there is someone else out on the free agent market you think would make sense for the Broncos to sign. We'll talk free agency for another minute or two, and then I want to get into the trade buzz because I did not think the Jerry Jeudy trade buzz would get this loud, but it's getting loud. And when there's smoke, Sam, there's fire. And I wonder if a Jerry Jeudy trade is in the works here. Sports says CJ Gardner-Johnson. I like Greg Vandy saying CJ Posick already got signed by the Browns, but Ben Jones could be a Lloyd Cushenberry replacement. I don't know if Denver's plan is to maybe draft a center because there's no good ones left in free agency, if I'm being honest. I don't know if any of them are better than Cush. Or if it's, hey, let's get a guard in the draft or free agency, and then let's move Quinn Miners over to center because he had that job in college for a little bit. So maybe that's the Broncos' plan to remedy the center situation. I'm not quite sure. I thought Cushenberry would bounce back last season. Didn't happen ultimately, so it'll be interesting. Drake Foss, Shelby Harris reunion. You know, I remember when Russell Wilson got traded to Denver, and everyone's like, all those picks and those players. I was like, I'll bet you right now all three of those players are off that team within 2 seasons. I'm pretty close. Drew Lock's already gone. Shelby Harris is gone. They picked up Noah Fant's fifth-year option.
He's the only one left.
And he'll be gone after next year because he was a non-factor for them last year.
That's what you'd think. He probably had, I think, 2 good games with Seattle, but not nearly the impact that he really even had in Denver. I wouldn't be surprised to see that either.
I'm going to spin zone this for you guys. You ready for this? You ready, Sam? The players have already been a bust for Seattle so far. That's fine. They got 2 firsts, 2 seconds. The players didn't really matter that much. If all 4 players are busts, did Denver end up winning the trade? Could that be a real backdoor cover?
Or is it a classic, or is it a classic lose-lose?
Yeah.
Is it one of those trades?
Yeah, probably Seattle winning, if we're being honest here. Michael Dalton Schultz, perhaps. That's an interesting name. I know that Sean Payton in New Orleans, he had Jimmy Graham. He had some big tight ends. He liked to get the tight ends involved. Lucky for him, he's inheriting Greg Dulcich, so I don't know if they're going to go after an expensive tight end. They like Dulcich a lot. They got him on his rookie contract for 3 more years. That seems a little bit more likely to me. So now I want to get to, before we get to the Jerry Jeudy trade buzz, quick reminder, our Super Chat menu for today. If you want to support the show, throw some buckaroos our way, and we'll go back and forth and talk Broncos football. Any kind of Super Chat, it's a shout-out. $2, just give me your take. We'll talk about whatever it is. $5, it's a beers cheers. The mountains are blue. I'm looking for a $5 Super Chat to crack it open because they're starting to sweat. $20, fireball shots, and $50, no you pervs, not that Mile High Club. It's the Mile High Club here at the channel. We're starting fresh for the 2023 season. New league year started, new Mile High Club. If you Super Chat $50, you'll be added to the list, and we'll throw that on screen periodically throughout our live shows and content. So that is the Super Chat menu today. If you'd like to go ahead and Super Chat, we definitely won't stop you. But hey, liking the video, getting involved in the chat are also great ways to help grow the channel. Now let's talk about the Jerry Jeudy trade rumors. So he has been mentioned several times in NFL trade rumors, circles, and whispers and whatnot. And you know what? No, I'm graduating it. They're no longer whispers. They are they're not murmurs. They're regular volume. Inside voice. They are inside voice level right now, Jerry Jeudy. And I can sort of maybe follow the logic of what does Sean Payton do in New Orleans? Blocking tight ends, running the football. Does not want to have definitely does not want to have Russell Wilson overcook 2023. So if he feels like he's got a surplus at receivers and Cortland Sutton and Tim Patrick and a first-round pick for Jeudy can get the job done, I guess I can see them flipping Jeudy for a first, although I thought Jeudy would be someone you kind of want to build around, right? Because Russell Wilson, if he plays the way he did last year, this year, he could be gone after a season or two, and then you're looking for a new quarterback, and Jeudy would be a nice wide receiver to have on the roster to help bring along that new quarterback if you're Sean Payton, and not get a new QB and have him to have no one to throw to. So we got some trade rumors from Jeff Howe over at The Athletic. He reported yesterday now? Jerry Jeudy has been a hot name this week. The Broncos' asking price on Jeudy has been at least a first-round pick. I'm guessing they're looking for a first and like a fourth or a fifth, right? Kind of an early day 3 pick to go along with it. So will they find a suitor? We got an interesting list. We can actually show it for you guys. It's 6 teams that are reportedly in the mix here. So Benjamin Albright reported that the Broncos are listening to offers for Jeudy and had 6 landing spots. And here are those landing spots. The first one is the Cleveland Browns. They are looking to add some speed and firepower around Deshaun Watson. My only hiccup with the Browns is they don't have a first-round pick to offer. So unless Denver is dying to send Jeudy to Cleveland, I just think other teams could make better offers. The Bears have the 9th overall pick, which they probably wouldn't use on Jerry Jeudy. And then their next pick in the draft is at 53. The Ravens, the Giants, the Packers, and the Cowboys all pick in a span from 15 to 26. 10 spots right there with the Dolphins pick forfeited. So I think that is a more likely outcome if Jeudy ends up getting dealt. If Green Bay's like, you know what? We're all in on Jordan Love. We just lost Allen Lazard. Let's trade the 15th overall pick for a former 15th overall pick and give Jordan Love a proven wide receiver. I think that could be something that happens. Or the Cowboys, who want to give Dak more than just CeeDee Lamb to throw to. I'm starting to believe that the Jerry Jeudy trade rumors, though, as a whole, are more likely. And I don't want to be pessimistic for all the Jerry Jeudy lovers out there, but I'm starting to think he might be more likely gone than not, right? When there's smoke, there's fire, and sometimes they end up holding on to the guy. But, man, if you're Jerry Jeudy right now, you've heard your name all week long in trade conversations. It'd be a bit tough for Denver to bring him back and try and sweep it all under the rug. That stuff upsets players. So I wonder if we're going to see like a draft day trade. Remember A.J. Brown last year? I remember it's honestly kind of eerily similar. Wouldn't you agree, Sam? Like, A.J. Brown was better than Jerry Jeudy at that point. He wanted a contract extension. Judy's not in that position. But Titans fans were saying for months they're not trading A.J. Brown. And then draft day, they swap him and pick a new wide receiver. I can kind of see that happening with Jeudy. Do you agree, Sam, or not?
Yeah, I mean, how many times do you see fans for teams that just say, no, there's no chance they're going to trade this player. He's going to stick around. These are just rumors. Don't buy into the tea. And then they get shipped.
Right.
Some rumors, when they start picking up this mass that they have, they're more than just rumors.
Yeah.
There's actually something maybe to be taken into consideration as a possibility.
The only thing is I just don't see, I don't think Denver's going to come out and say we're shopping Jerry Jeudy, because you kind of only have to do that when you're backed into a corner and it's like the player has requested a trade or you are completely rebuilding. They're not doing that. So I don't think they feel like they have to trade Jeudy. If they get the right offer, though, they very well may pull the trigger on a trade. So I want to know from all 143 people watching right now, would you trade Jerry Jeudy for a first and more, right? Would you do it for a first and a fourth round pick? Y for yes, N for no. Everyone that gets in the chat, I'll give a shout out to. We're going to hang out, talk about all the trade buzz, but let me know, would you trade Jerry Jeudy for a first? Michael Arrington says heck no. Tyrone says yes. David, Jerry is a first pick and more. Garrett Ringy, yes. AFX Apocalypse suggests Greg Newsome in a third. Why does Denver want Greg Newsome, though? Right? I don't think they look at their roster and feel like we want to add a average corner in Greg Newsome and just get a third rounder. They'd probably go for a first. They don't get a first, maybe Greg Newsome could happen, but I don't think that's like the best offer that the Broncos could get. That's my only hiccup with that idea. Jamel White says no. Dante King says no. Court, by the way, says yes. Michael H. says yes. Anthony Schwartz, now that's a good deal. Court, by the way, yes. Marcus says no. Sam, are you doing Jeudy for a first and change? Yes or no?
Yes.
Really? Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm slowly changing my stance on it. I just wonder this. One, he's never gone over 1,000 yards. So I think we can kind of slow down a little bit, though, myself included, on propping this guy up to be one of the best receivers in the game at the moment, right? I remember before the trade deadline, I think the majority of people did want to trade Jerry Jeudy if they got a good offer. He ended the year on a high note. I keep stepping on my cord. But at this point, it's like, if you can get a good offer, maybe you do look to bundle it up and move on and roll with Tim Patrick. Have him be Sean Payton's Michael Thomas in Denver, right, Sam?
Again, I think it's the fact that you've got, if you're getting a first-round pick, you're getting another crack at getting what you were hoping to get out of Jerry Jeudy. I don't know that he'll ever be, I think CeeDee Lamb still has, another step he can take and really get into that upper echelon. I don't know that Jerry Jeudy's ever going to be considered in that real upper echelon. I think he's going to be one of the best 1Bs receivers for as long as he's in the NFL. But you have a chance at that 1A potentially if you trade him for that first.
Not to be that guy, but here's a good measuring tool. Will Jerry Jeudy ever be a fantasy football pick in the first 2 rounds? Right? That's kind of that's kind of what you want to get when you pick a receiver 15th overall. Is to get a Justin Jefferson type of player, right, who went 22, 23. So maybe that's where Denver views it as he's good. He's definitely maybe not a top elite receiver. He's also had some ankle injuries, so you can kind of buy some time in that department. But, I mean, another point would be where in the first round is it, right? Is it the 29th overall pick, or is it the 15th overall pick? Because those are very different first-round picks, in my opinion. So, that isn't 29th San Francisco. Could you imagine, oh my God, if the 49ers traded away? No, if the Saints pick at 29 now.
The Saints pick at 29
If the Saints trade for Jerry Jeudy and give Denver back the first-round pick they got for Sean Payton.
Time is a flat circle.
Wow, that would be unbelievable. Vic saying, overall, Jeudy hasn't done much except having a few good games. DeRoke, if trade Jeudy, what player is taking his place? That would be Tim Patrick. It would be Tim Patrick, Cortland Sutton, and a rookie. That actually brings me to, I think we have a tweet about this, about Allen Lazard, if we can find that, Sam. Because the reason why I think there might be more substance to the Jerry Jeudy trade buzz is this from Jordan Schultz. Sources, Broncos were also very aggressive in their pursuit of wide receiver Allen Lazard, but likely would have had to make a trade. Denver really values his toughness and route running. Yeah, he's a really good run blocker. Is that why they wanted him? Or is it because they were trying to flip Jeudy and get a replacement?
No, it's actually because they were trying to trade for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, bring Hackett too?
No.
I can't wait for
good.
the Broncos Hackett rematch next year. That's going to be awesome, especially when the Jets put up like 6 points.
Again, from what it sounded like from his Pat McAfee interview, and I'm going on a bit of a tangent here now. He talked about one of the big deciding factors was the fact that there was one coach who's meant as much for him for his career as just about any other coach, and he's the offensive coordinator in New York.
I mean,
would have been great if he was the offensive coordinator in Denver and not the guy running the entire football team.
He just wants
Maybe
to go back.
we would have been better off last year.
He just wants to go back to his cornhole partner, drinking buddy, Nate Hackett. So I don't fault him for that. We all have got friends. He wants to hang out with his buddy. That's fine with me. Hey, we're trying to reach 50% in likes on the video. So here's what we got going on right now. We have 156 people watching. So we need about 38 more to like the video so we can have 50% of all of the people watching hit the thumbs up button. If we reach that milestone, I'll crack open the beer. I'm kind of itching to do it anyway, so this will be a good excuse. Plus, tomorrow is my day off, and this will be a nice send-off into the weekend.
You're off tomorrow?
I am off tomorrow. I thought
What
that was
the
a bit
hell?
strange. I don't know if it's a typo or something.
I'm in at 7 a.m.
Oh, no, I'm off, baby. I'm sleeping in, too. I'm looking forward to it.
This league is rigged.
AFX Apocalypse, what about Grant Delpit for Jeudy? No, I don't think Denver would be interested in that. It would have to be Delpit in a second, and I don't know if Denver values Delpit as high as Cleveland does. Speaking of Delpit, though, the safety position in general, we'll talk about that later on, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Garrett Ringy, are they keeping Sutton and KJ? You're not going to get much for KJ. So if you're getting nothing for him, I don't see the harm in holding on to him. He's not a big cap hit. See if he can get back to that second-round status after a full season to recover. As for Cortland Sutton, I for sure thought he was getting traded this week. Still could happen, but maybe the offers just aren't coming in for a receiver who's got a big contract and has not looked like a $15 million receiver. I'll put it that way, right?
I vote we just start drinking now. Look how many likes we have.
69 likes. There we go. We're 11 away from 80 likes. As soon as we get to 80 likes, I'm cracking open the beer. And then we're going to talk about free agent targets out there. Talk about C.J. Gardner-Johnson and a certain running back. This will just be kind of fun to talk about more than anything. But I figured it could be a cool conversation. 10 likes away from 80. Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. I'll continue to give shout outs to everyone who has liked the video. Derrick Henry for Jerry Jeudy. Why do I feel like Derrick Henry? The Titans really shouldn't trade Henry. You got a new GM in town. The last thing you want to do as a new GM is lose the fan base by trading away their best player in franchise history within 2 or 3 months of the job and suck next year and have all the pressure be on that pick for Henry. And if that guy's not good, it's like, well, why'd you even bother trading him? There we go. Got to 80 likes. Shout out to everyone who liked today's video. Thank you so much. Here we go. Cheers to you guys. Mountains are bluish. Love to see it. Love to see it. Sutton would be number 4 wide receiver if he was on the Bengals. What? Oh, maybe. He'd be behind Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. Would he be behind Tyler Boyd? I think he'd be ahead of Tyler Boyd, but Boyd's got speed. So maybe they wouldn't use it. Yeah, fuck, you might be right, dude. AFX Apocalypse, it's okay. There's a lot of guys here at Chat Sports, a lot of cool dudes. Trace is one of them. Trade Judy for a first and use the first for Zay Flowers. This wide receiver draft class is an enigma. I got no idea who's number 1. My gut kind of tells me Jackson Smith and Jigba, though. I just can't get that Rose Bowl performance out of my head. But I also fell for Sam Darnold in the Rose Bowl. So maybe it's just don't watch the Rose Bowl and evaluate players that way. But when I hear Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave say that JSN was the best on the team, and they're pretty good after one season, I'm tempted. He had some injuries last year, didn't get to showcase himself. But Zay Flowers out of Boston College, yeah, he's the real deal, it looks like. So I think both players are going to be great. Here we go. Trade for Tyler Linderbaum. Now, that's not going to happen. Not after one season. Sutton for Brandon Cooks. Now, the Texans wouldn't do that. We got a new Judy update? Oh, let me read this. It's on twitter.com. Okay. Yep, from Benjamin Albright. Source confirms multiple teams have called inquiring about wide receiver Jerry Judy. Price tag remains high. Team asking for a first or high second and a player. Patriots, Browns, and Dallas, who was interested at trade deadline last year, among others inquiring. I don't think he's getting traded now. You're not getting a first, a second, and a player for him. Right? I just think that's... No. It's a first or a second. Oh, okay. I thought it's first and a second. It's like Judy's just not commanding that. Can you talk for a second? I've got to pick this up. That was a mistake.
They're asking for a first round pick or a high second plus a player. So basically 2 different trade offers. So that makes a little more sense. High second and a player.
Wow, I've said for a long time they would never trade Jerry Judy for Greg Newsome in a second. What if that's the actual trade?
That's not the worst package out there, probably.
I mean, you get to get Pat Surtain, Greg Newsome. That's a nice young safety tandem, I guess.
Cornerback tandem.
I said safety? Corner, sorry. But, wow. Got some new news, guys. Let's break it down here. Jerry Judy for a first or a high second. So, the fact that high second, or first or high second and a player, okay. Where do you think it goes, Sam? Do you think he gets traded, number 1? Let's start the conversation there. Will Jerry Judy be on the Broncos in 2023? Yes or no? The hesitation means no.
No.
The hesitation means no.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, again, if you're looking for that top number 1 guy, the Broncos just don't have a surefire number 1 receiver yet. Like Jerry Judy, I think can become that, but he's not. I don't think you're ever going to talk. You're not going to talk about Jerry Judy in the same light that we've talked about Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
Or, DeAndre Hopkins before the last few seasons, where you're like, that guy, I would do anything to have that guy as my number 1 receiver.
Let's throw Judy's stats on, if we could, for a second here.
Yeah.
Because I want to look at them, and I'm going to be a broken record.
By the way, let's just point this out.
Yeah.
So, of the teams, and I'll pull up the list.
So, yeah, I like that.
I'll pull the list.
Do the Patriots, this is we got some mixing of lists here, but
Yes.
I want to stick on New England for a second. Are they still in after signing Juju?
Yes.
I would think not. Right?
That's like, so of the list of teams that Albright reported, plus these right here, on how many of them would Jerry Judy be the number 1 receiver?
Okay.
Cleveland has Amari Cooper.
Cooper's number 1.
Baltimore, probably he'd be number 1, but they also don't have anyone else around them.
Yeah.
Green Bay, he'd be number 1.
Yep.
Chicago, not anymore.
No, DJ Moore.
The Giants?
Yes.
Maybe, yeah.
Who else is number 1? They get Darius freaking Slayton?
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
yeah.
He'd probably be number 1.
Right.
And then the Cowboys, he wouldn't be. CeeDee Lamb.
Yep, I agree.
So like half of these teams they're not going to pay a first-round pick for a guy that isn't going to be their top weapon, I'm thinking.
Yep. Man, the Browns, Andrew Berry, coming out of the Combine, he's the Cleveland Browns GM. He was described as being very aggressive this offseason, not in a weird way, but in a managerial way. So is he really going all chips in to try and get another star player around Deshaun Watson and the Browns offense? But let's look at Jerry Judy's stats, because he's never gone over 1,000 yards. in 2021, like rookie year, 856 yards, 3 touchdowns with Drew Lock. Like, that's not too shabby right there, in my opinion. That's a good, like, rookie numbers. Last season, 2 years ago now, 2021, he had the bad ankle sprain against the Giants in week 1, and then came back probably too early. But last year, sluggish start, end of the year high. But still, I mean, you could also make a fair point. He's never had a good quarterback, right? What would he do with a good quarterback play? Could he be a 1,200-yard, 10-touchdown type receiver? That's what I'm wondering. Now, before we get to more on this Jerry Jeudy segment here, help us reach our next milestone at the channel. I want to get to 13,000 subs by the end of free agency, which I don't know when that technically officially ends ever, if it doesn't. So, with that being said, though, hit the sub button. 295 subs away. Help us get there today, tomorrow, or sooner rather than later. Hit the sub button, like I said. Free daily Broncos content all year long. Here we go. Are we signing Murray? Who's Murray? Who? Latavius. Oh my God! I was thinking of what's his face? The old Cowboys running back, DeMarco Murray for a moment. I don't know why that name just popped in my head.
Who, by the way, is now the running backs coach at his alumnus, the University of Oklahoma, and doing a great job.
I'm sure he is.
For honestly,
that was really dumb.
The first name that came to my mind was Jamal.
I literally saw Murray and I started thinking DeMarco Murray. I was like, I don't think he's playing anymore, guys. Jed's been here since the channel was created, and this is like your dream right here. Sam and I hanging out together.
I know. I remember the good old days when
This
was my shindig, and I passed the torch along to you, and you've taken it and obviously run with it because here we are. But it's a good time. It's every time I'm on this show, I feel like I'm living vicariously through myself 2 years ago.
You're going back to college. You're watching all the frat kids drink on Fraternity Road, and you're like, I used to be there.
Yeah,
that was
used
you.
To be me.
Yeah, those buildings weren't there back when I was in school.
These kids don't understand what it was like.
All right, let's get back on track here. Enough about Sam and I's personal lives. Jerry Jeudy, will he get traded? I'm going to keep asking questions around this because I have no idea if the answer is yes, no, or if we even want to see him get traded, right? Is that in the best interest for the Denver Broncos? But following the latest from Benjamin Albright, which we just looked at a moment ago, if the Broncos get a great offer, I can see the logic behind what does Sean Payton want to do. He wants to run the football. How do I know that? He signed 2 run-geared offensive linemen in Ben Powers and Mike McGlinchey. Mike McGlinchey is a better run blocker than a pass blocker, okay? And he gave him a lot of money, too. They signed a blocking tight end. They signed a fullback. They signed a running back, Samaje Perine. The point is, Denver wants to run the ball well. So if they view passing secondary, and they've already got Tim Patrick and Courtland Sutton, who they like, especially Patrick it sounds like, well, then maybe they view Jeudy as a movable piece to try and say our team is better with a first-round pick instead of 3 wide receivers. I follow the logic. I do. I just feel like you're going to be trading away a really special player. That's where I sort of stop and pause and go, do you want to move on from Jerry Jeudy? Right? Doesn't it feel like he's just starting to really put it all together and be a number 1 wide receiver? The way he ended this past season really feels like he's on the come up. You slap that 5th-year option on, you got 2 more years on his rookie contract. Whoever takes over from Russell Wilson, I think would be inheriting a good wide receiver. We're always talking about pairing young QBs with veteran receivers. Well, let's say Denver drafts a QB next year in round 1. How nice would it be to not have to go get him a great wide receiver, but to have one waiting? I'm sure the Chicago Bears would have liked that last year. That's why they got DJ Moore, right? So I'm thinking a couple steps ahead here, not just for 2023. But what's in the best interest for Denver moving forward? I think it's holding on to Jerry Jeudy. Because that draft pick, is that only a draft pick, a lottery ticket, a chance? First-round draft picks, 32 each year, minus when the Dolphins are naughty. I would say of the 32, what do you think, Sam? 20 get signed to a second contract with their team that drafted them?
Yeah, it's a lower rate than you'd imagine.
Maybe even closer to 16 than 20. So about
Yeah.
half of them, the team would say was a good pick because they want to give him another contract. So if it's about a 55% hit rate, and you know what you got in Judy, maybe you do hold on to him. It's not like you're clearing money by moving on from him or anything. So that's kind of my spiel, my TED Talk on Jerry Jeudy. I see why and how the stars align for him getting dealt because he's not necessarily a fit for the direction Sean Payton wants to go on offense. But I think he's a valuable piece moving forward. He's a guy that you don't have to move on from because he doesn't fit your scheme. No. B-list guys don't fit schemes, okay? Stars, up-and-coming great guys, scheme doesn't matter. They know ball. They don't care where they're playing. They'll get it done. Is Jerry Jeudy in that in that echelon, right? He's not in the top-tier wide receivers, but is he in a tier big enough where it's, hey, ignore what scheme calls for? Judy's just a great player, and he's going to be a better player for your team than without him. There it is. There it is. Scott Fry first and a decent center. Haven't thought about trading for a center. You don't usually see centers get traded all that often, though.
It's like you don't really even know what the value is there. Like
Centers don't get picked early because they are deemed as a replaceable move right there.
I'll
tell you this. If you ever want to know what a trade value could be for a player, go look at the top salaries at that position. See what centers are getting paid. Because whatever they're getting paid, that's how GMs value them. I don't think there's a single center out there making more than $12 million a season, right?
Yeah.
So that's how centers are valued.
Not many of those guys are being traded either. The most recent center trade I can think of off the top of my head was Rodney Hudson from the Raiders to the Cardinals a few years ago.
Okay.
Turns out he sucked and retired 2 years later.
Yeah.
It's just not something you see as often, I would say. Because, the value just isn't as high as an offensive tackle, for example.
Agreed. So let me know, light up the chat right now. Will the Broncos trade Jerry Jeudy? Will this ever get done? Yes or no? I'll tell you this much. If they do trade him, we'll be going live here at the channel. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that live show if it ends up happening. Also, if you haven't liked today's video, please go ahead and do so. We're actually right at about 50% though. So you guys have been on the A-ball. I love it. I love it. I love it. Some shout-outs here. We got more? Derek Simpson says no. Kyle says no. Brooke says maybe. Michael Arrington says hope not. Garrett Ringy says no, but I want to say yes. Yeah, I just don't think trading Sutton is going to get you much. I thought he'd get you a third. Maybe not. And maybe if it's only getting a fourth or a fifth, the Broncos just go, it's not even worth it at that point. We'd rather see if he can get back to the guy who we extended, right? And get that old version of him. Jordy says yes. David says OBJ wants $20 million a season. I have no idea. I think Jerry Jeudy's contract, Odell Beckham Jr.'s contract would be like 3 years, 70 million with like 30 of it guaranteed. 60 million, maybe somewhere in that range, something like that. No to trading Jeudy from Tim Stark. Luis says no. The new NDY prod. I think Hamler is here to stay. Trade Jeudy for Micah Parsons. I think you'd have to kidnap Jerry Jones to get that deal to go through. Michael, let's go. Yes, a first and a fourth. Sauer, keep Jeudy. Sign C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Trade Simmons. Jerry's here to stay. Okay. Speaking of C.J. Gardner-Johnson, let's take a tiny little break from the Jeudy buzz. And can we talk about C.J. Gardner-Johnson here? Because Denver has reportedly shown interest in signing C.J. Gardner-Johnson. So could the Broncos be making a move to sign the former New Orleans Saint, who Sean Payton drafted, and pair him up with Justin Simmons and Pat Surtain and create, I would say, the best secondary, close to the best secondary in the NFL. I mean, Pat Surtain's an all-pro corner. Justin Simmons is probably the most underrated defensive player in the NFL, in my opinion. He missed 4 games last year, and he was tied for the league's most in interceptions. And then Gardner-Johnson had 6 picks by himself a year ago. So Denver has reportedly been showing interest in him. Aaron Wilson reported it yesterday, saying Broncos among the teams with interest in Eagles free agent C.J. Gardner-Johnson, per a league source. I mean, every team should be interested in him. Look what he's done over the last 4 seasons. It was a head-scratching move when the Saints traded him. They felt like they weren't going to be able to pay him soon, so they wanted to get something for him. And Philly definitely capitalized. 6 interceptions, 8 pass breakups. He has been one of the better safeties in football since entering the league coming out of Florida. So I can see why Denver would have interest in such a great player. Are they going to have money? They've already spent a ton of it. I think Gardner-Johnson's going to get an average contract in the neighborhood of $10 to $13 million a season. I think he's probably warranted that much. Jesse Bates just got $16 million. Is CJ going to get 13 this year? So we'll find out. Hey, we got a Super Chat menu, by the way. If you're just tuning in, I want to remind everyone about what we are offering on today's show. Super Chat, any amount you get on screen. Plus, we're still looking for the first Super Chat, so you can be number 1.
I'm going to get the party hopefully going a little bit here.
I like it, Sam.
I will go ahead and take a shot no matter what for the first Super Chat of the day.
I'll match that. 2
Let's get it
shots
going.
for the first Super Chat. $2, by the way. Give me your take, whether it's on Jerry Jeudy, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, or anyone else. $5, it's a beers cheers. We'll toast to you. $20, some fireball shots. And then $50, no, you pervs. Not that Mile High Club, our Mile High Club here at the channel. We get you on screen anytime you Super Chat moving forward, and we'll make sure everyone sees who the Mile High Club leaders are. All right, here we go. Shout out your city. Let's blow up the chat right now. Looking for the first Super Chat while we break down some free agency news and rumors. Let me know where you are watching from today. Shout out your city. I'll be giving shout outs to everyone who chimes in the chat right now. Here we go. Looking for first city. There it is. Lakewood coming in. We got 2 Lakewoods. We got some neighbors right there. Michael's in Los Angeles. Shakey's up in Nova Scotia. That's where my grandma was born. Anthony's in St. Louis. Keep those city shout-outs coming in. Tony, from Kansas City. Brooks in Fort Collins. I got Justin in Arvada. Jordy's out in Albuquerque. We got Hawaii, California, Texas, Loveland, Afghanistan. Wow, you got some good Wi-Fi in the caves out there. LA, Toronto. Hey, we got our first Super Chat from Larry. Let's go, Larry. Love it. We'll throw it on screen, Larry, in just a moment. Oh, here we go. 4-point game. Charleston driving. 8 seconds. In the paint, whistle blows. No, the clock's going to run out. And San Diego State has advanced. Oh, a foul's called. So if you had Charleston upsetting San Diego State, you were wrong. Sorry, buddy. Larry with a $5 Super Chat. Trade Sutton to Cleveland for their second-round pick. I don't think you're getting a second-rounder for Cortland Sutton. So I hate to burst your bubble, but I'm not necessarily opposed to trading Cortland Sutton. The Browns are looking for a receiver, so I don't think that's an absolute impossibility. But I think you're probably looking like a 4th for Sutton. I used to think a 3rd. Doesn't look like that's the case here. Sam pours some fat shots right now.
Friday.
For me at least. Cannonball time. Cannonball coming. Whew. That's fireball.
We're going after it. Yeah.
Here we go. I'll say this much. Next Super Chat we get, another round of shots. We'll keep the party going a little bit here. So any Super Chat, any amount, we will. I'm already drunk, it sounds like right there. We will load up the shots again. TNG Manny, they signed Samaje Perine like 2 days ago. Where have you been? Sorry, dude. So Sam, let's we got 203 people watching right now. Let's get into a bit of a kind of a cut, I think, about the Jerry Jeudy stuff. If you want to put together some sort of template. Yeah. We'll get the comment section. Kyle's tuning in from Pueblo, Colorado. We got Michael in Lewiston, Idaho. Montana coming in. I love it. That was a pretty embarrassing moment. That was like a 1-beer PD move right there where I had 1 shot of fireball and I was just slurring over my words. Charleston, they're out. Arizona's only up by 6 against Princeton, so keep an eye on that. Arkansas is taking it to Illinois.
Princeton,
I took Arkansas. Let's go. So San Diego State versus Furman next round. I picked SDSU to go to the Sweet 16, so I'm feeling like a genius right now.
I think I had Furman over San Diego State.
Oh, that'd be fun to watch. Okay.
I think I went double upset for Furman.
All right, Stillwater, Oklahoma from Matt. That's where you went to school, right?
Incorrect. That would not be where I went to school.
Sam's a Norman guy.
That is where little brother went to school.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the big news, if you're just joining us to kind of catch you guys up to speed on everything, sounding like Jerry Jeudy has a very good shot of getting traded. We've got some offers coming in from a handful of teams, according to Benjamin Albright. And Denver's showing interest in signing C.J. Gardner-Johnson. So this offseason for the Broncos, I thought would be a bit quiet going into it before they even hired Sean Payton. But now it seems like they are really trying to make some big splashes. And I hate to burst anyone's bubble, but if I asked you before free agency started, would Denver be a would Denver be a playoff contending team? Would you have said yes, Sam?
No, I would not have.
Now it feels like they kind of are, sort of, right? I mean, they've done a lot.
We're in the same exact spot that we were this time last offseason. The playoffs are the expectation.
Right.
Like, that's the bar. Anything less is a failure of a season.
Yeah, for how long it's been. Tyler with a $5 super chat. Let's go, Tyler. We'll throw it on screen. Love it. Love it. Tyler saying, coming from Tyler Cordes, tuning in from Columbia, South Carolina, trucker life. I like it. I've driven through Columbia twice. Really good barbecue spot I once had downtown. But hey, truckers, truckers the best.
Another shot?
Another shot. Another shot. Tyler, if you're driving, don't take a shot. Let us do that for you.
Yeah, I'll take one for you, Tyler. Do not worry.
Sam's pro trucker.
Another nice tall one coming here.
Okay. There you go.
Oh, I'm not the only. I mean, you're not the only one.
Oh, with the party stopper off, it just starts to flow out a little bit here. We got someone from Charleston, South Carolina. That's my favorite city under the radar. Cannonball time.
Cannonball coming in.
Okay. Whew. Tyler, thank you very much for the super chat. This time I'm not shithoused after the first shot right there. So we're keeping it together right here.
We still got a little ways to go.
Yep. Scott, what's the Raiders? See, now I'm getting drunk. What's the radio? Oh, I'm mixing up the words here. What are Raiders studio? When you don't type in English, then I start to not read it in English. The Raiders signed someone. That's why they're getting bonkers over there. Yeah, wide receiver stuff, and then CJ. And then McGlinchey and Screwzeek. That's just probably not, So we're going to break down the latest Jerry Jeudy buzz, rumors, trade talk out there for you guys. And then we're going to go in depth on C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Unpopular opinion, give me Caden Stearns for $1.5 million, right? Is that such a bad option? I like Caden Stearns a lot. He was so good last year when Simmons went down and he had to fill in. So he's not going to cost you $12 million a season. You're giving out all these big contracts, but you still have one big issue: quarterback play. Unless Sean Payton really believes he can turn around Russell Wilson. I mean, look at it this way, though. If Russell Wilson does go back to old Russ on this roster, that is a very good team then. Is it not? If you're getting 2018, 2019 Russ with this roster right now, that's a AFC contender. But my brain just can't actually picture that happening with what I saw last year, which was an absolute train wreck. Just disaster across the board. Minshew to the Colts. Did we miss that? Did that happen? Gardner Minshew going to the Colts? He did, yeah. It's official. Tom Pelissero. I like that move. Gardner Minshew, he might have a real chance to play some games there next season. So I like that one a lot. All right, we're going to break down the rumors in just a moment. Hey, Tyler, thank you so much for the super chat. If anyone else feels so inclined, you don't have to. Don't feel pressured to. Liking the video, interacting in the chat goes a long way. But super chats definitely help boost the channel and get us more studio space in Chat Sports. Because I'll be honest right now, Sam and I, we're in what we call the dungeon studio. It's the bottom of the barrel. I don't want to be here next free agency.
It's Studio G, and I consider it like the G stands for Guantanamo Bay.
That's a good way of putting it.
Like
you're
good. You're damn near underground here.
Yeah, it is awful. So help us get out of here and get back towards civilization. Liking the video, commenting, super chatting, all that stuff helps us out tremendously. Sam, if we're ready on the ones and twos, I'm going to trust you to drive this ship, baby. And let's talk about Jerry Jeudy potentially getting traded. Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here with more trade rumors surrounding Jerry Jeudy. Plus, I want to talk about C.J. Gardner-Johnson at the end of the show. But the Jerry Jeudy trade rumors refuse to quit. And when there's smoke, there's often fire. And I'm starting to really believe that Jerry Jeudy might end up getting traded. So we've heard from various reporters across the league that Denver has been fielding calls. And my thought was always, are they taking calls or are they listening to calls, right? Not to go full and Colin Cowherd on you, but are they picking up the phone or are they actually serious about these offers they could be getting? Benjamin Albright, who I think is one of the best Broncos reporters out there, tweeted out, source confirms multiple teams have called inquiring about wide receiver Jerry Jeudy. Price tag remains high. Team asking for a first or second plus a player. High second or a player. Patriots, Browns, Cowboys, who was interested at trade deadline last year, among others inquiring. So, let's discuss here. Jerry Jeudy potentially getting traded. I've got some raw thoughts. First thing I think we should start with, his stats, right? Is this a player that Denver could somewhat live without, keep moving without? I mean, if you just go off the numbers, I don't think that's someone who's absolutely unreplaceable, irreplaceable. 972 yards, 6 touchdowns. He ended the year on a really high note, but is Jeudy on track to be a wide receiver 1 in the NFL? We all know what it is, right? You know it when you see it. Is that the direction Jeudy is heading? Maybe. I can't say definitively one way or the other. But I think that because I am stuck in the middle, I have to be really sold on a great offer to move on from someone who does seem like they could be trending in the direction of being a legit wide receiver 1 in this league. So with that said, I want to know from everyone watching, would you trade Jeudy for a first and more, right? Would you be open for it being a first or a second and a player? Let me know in the comment section why for yes and for no if you would be open to trading Jerry Jeudy. For me, if the Broncos get a great offer, and we'll look at 6 teams in just a second who could be interested in making an offer for him, I can see the logic behind why Denver would feel like trading Jeudy might be the best thing for this roster. Sean Payton comes into town. Okay, let's think about Sean Payton, New Orleans Saints. What does he do there? Run the football. That's a cliche. Everyone likes to run the football. But the free agent moves definitely back that up. Mike McGlinchey, what is he? One of the better run blocking tackles. Ben Powers, one of the best run blocking tackles, okay? They sign a fullback. They sign a blocking tight end. They sign a running back. Finally, with all that, all signs are pointing to they want to run the football. So if passing becomes the second element to this team, well, maybe you don't need 3 receivers. Maybe you can get by with Cortland Sutton and Tim Patrick, who they are very excited to get back this season. And maybe getting a first for Jeudy and plugging that first-round pick player somewhere else on this roster could make this team better than having Jeudy on a run-first team with a crowded wide receiver room. That's sort of my best stab at following why the Broncos would be interested in trading away an ascending player, in my opinion here. So we had this yesterday from Sportsnaut, who tweeted out, the Broncos are listening to offers for Jerry Jeudy. Our Benjamin Albright provides some inside information. On Browns and Cowboys interest as we look at 6 ideal landing spots. Here were those 6 ideal landing spots. The Browns and their first pick in the draft, which is 42 overall. If they want a first, it's not Cleveland, right? It's probably not Cleveland or Chicago because they're not giving up the number 9 pick in the draft. So would either of those sides be interested in giving up their second-round pick and a player? More importantly, would Denver be interested in getting a second-round pick and a player? I think if they really want to retool, they should really only be looking for first. And if that's the case, insert Baltimore, Giants, Dallas, and Green Bay. Those teams, I think, make some more sense for Denver if they just are looking for a first. But if they can't, maybe they do slide to high second and a player for the Cleveland Browns or the Chicago Bears. The wide receiver room, by the way, in Denver right now, Judy, Tim Patrick, Cortland Sutton. If you move on from Judy, you slide Patrick and Sutton over. Montrell Washington probably isn't next. Maybe Brandon Johnson. I mean, they're also going to draft a receiver if they move on from Judy. So that guy, along with KJ Hamler, could be the wide receiver 3 on the roster. They would definitely look to add some sort of fill-out player in free agency if they moved on from Judy. But it'll be interesting to see if Denver ultimately decides we are better without Judy in exchange for a first or a second and a player. Now, this is the #1 channel for all Broncos news and rumors. So anytime trade rumors come out, we break it down here on the channel, which is why you got to subscribe. Make sure to hit that sub button. We're trying to grow this channel, trying to get to 13,000 subs. Help us accomplish that goal by subscribing today. The next segment on today's show is going to be about CJ Gardner-Johnson. I've heard some buzz out there that Denver is reportedly showing some interest in signing the former New Orleans Saint, who was drafted by Sean Payton, and maybe he wants to be reunited with his young, up-and-coming, ascending safety. So, Aaron Wilson reported that the Broncos are among teams with interest in Eagles free agent CJ Gardner-Johnson. Now, I should mention, we are talking about NFL free agency, the most fluid thing in the world. Yesterday, we talked about Darius Slay coming to Denver potentially. Now he's going back to Philly. So if things change, bear with us. But as it stands right now, he's a free agent. He's not returning to the Eagles at this present moment. So could Denver swoop in and add him to their safety room? K-Jack is a free agent. I like the idea of slotting Caden Stearns in there and having that be your starting safety tandem with Justin Simmons. I think that is a great safety duo, frankly. I just don't think you have to go out and sign CJ Gardner-Johnson for, what's he going to get, guys? $13 million a season? Jesse Bates just got 16. Juan Thornhill got 7. I think he's in the middle. I just think that it's not an overpay. I think you have a good up-and-coming player who's way cheaper. Is CJ Gardner-Johnson better than Caden Stearns? Absolutely. But is he so much better that you got to pay him 12x more? That I'm not so sure about. But the last 4 seasons, he's been one of the best in the league. There's no denying that. He had 6 interceptions last year in just 12 games. I mean, if you play 17 games, that number could be closer to 8 or 9, okay? Before that, with New Orleans, you could tell he was really starting to get his footing and start to become one of the league's better free safeties out there. But Caden Stearns, through 20 games, when you look at his stats, it's not like this guy's a scrub. 4 interceptions in 20 games? That's pretty good for a guy who hasn't been a starting safety, right? Who gets limited time, who comes in during injuries. That's why I like the idea of seeing what Caden Stearns could do as a real full-time starter and not have to pay $12 million. When, is Denver in a championship window this year? Hand up, I don't think so. Sorry. Unless Sean Payton can get Russell Wilson back to 2019 version, which seems difficult to believe right now. They're going to have a lot of good guys with no real consistent quarterback play, and all of a sudden they'll have a ton of free agents and a lot of tabs piling up, but they'll still go back to we need a quarterback, and by the time they get a quarterback, these guys are going to have their contracts expiring. So I'm not saying they shouldn't spend any money at all. I'm saying don't buy in on this free agency period when I don't think this is the year to be spending bukus of money at every single spot and getting every single player just cuz, right? It's not baseball. If it was, different conversation. So pick an option for me. Sign C.J. Gardner-Johnson, type 1. Start Caden Stearns and save cap space, type 2. I'm putting 2 down in the comment section, more so because of Stearns than saving money, if I'm being honest, right? It'd be one thing if Caden Stearns wasn't a good safety, and it's like, hey, I just want to see what he can do. We'll find out if he's the guy. I've liked what I've seen out of Caden Stearns through 2 seasons. I want to see more of it, and I love that I'm seeing it for $1 million a season. That's a pretty good deal, if you ask me. So the next segment on the show before we let you guys go is the Mike McGlinchey contract an overpay. He signed with Denver 5-year, $87.5 million contract. And I was excited then, and I still am, okay? The takeaway is that I think the takeaway should not be that this is an absolute overpay. But the other contracts given out, they're interesting. Before we look at those numbers, I've got to tell you guys about the sponsor for today's show. It's this great Fanatics product. It's a zip-up jacket hoodie. 25% off when you use the link down below, chatsports.com/BroncosZip. Get it today. Stay warm, stay in style, wear in your favorite club. So let's look at the free agent contracts given out thus far at the offensive tackle position. Mike McGlinchey's number 1. 5-year, $87.5 million. Kudos to Mike McGlinchey's agent because he won free agency. Okay, I've got no issue with the contract because he's a really good player and they needed a really good right tackle. Is it an overpay? Maybe a little bit. I didn't think he would get more than Juwan Taylor or Orlando Brown. I mean, just yearly average salary, it's $17.5 million for McGlinchey. For Juwan Taylor, $20 million, so an increase there, but less overall money. Orlando Brown, 4 years, $64 million. That shocked me. Caleb McGarry, that was an absolute bargain. Just $11 million? Like, if I asked you before they signed McGlinchey, would you rather have McGlinchey for $17.5 a season or McGarry for $11 million and change a season? Curious what your answer would have been back then. That's all I'm saying. I still like the signing because Denver just couldn't mess around. They had to get it right. And even if that means it's a bit of a rich contract, I still like it. The PFF grades for him last season, 35th overall amongst all qualifying tackles. Overall grade, 71.5. You can see he's a better run blocker than pass blocker, which is why I think Denver might be trending in a direction of we want to run the football. So circling back to the Jerry Jeudy trade segment, they want to run the football. Maybe they don't need 3 Pro Bowl level receivers when they're all at their best. You know what I'm saying? 10 penalties, 6 sacks a year ago. We can look at his overall PFF grades year by year. He's been one thing pretty much. Consistent, right? He might not be the number 1 tackle in football, but he is a big step up from Calvin Anderson, from Billy Turner, from Cam Fleming, and on and on and on. So for that reason, I am excited about this signing because he is exactly what the Denver Broncos need. Some stability, hopefully, for the first time in a long time at the right side of the offensive line. So here's the question. Did Denver overpay for Mike McGlinchey? It's kind of sad that I've gone all the way here after just like 4 days after the signing. But just looking at the other contracts, I didn't think he would get the most. I thought Orlando Brown would be the highest. So let me know Y for yes or N for no in the comment section below. All right. I got some Y's coming in. I thought I would have tomatoes being thrown at me for that. Turns out maybe I'm not the only one that's like, hey, I still like the signing because he's a really good player, and it's nice to have good players. But $17.5 million, that's interesting because that's a bigger number than I thought it would be. So interesting stuff right there. Hey, we got 183 people watching right now, 132 likes. If we can get to 150 likes, which we are 18 away from, we'll do another shot, Sam and I, or any super chat right now because we already started that train. So why not keep it going a little bit here? Super chats go a long way to help promote and grow the show here. So if you enjoy the free content and you want to show some love in more ways than just one, super chatting is a huge, big thank you for that. John says yes, it's an overpay. Beetle says no. Tim says no, I think he'll thrive in Denver. I think he's going to be good for the Broncos. Here's my question. If I told George Payton those would be the contracts given out without showing who signed who, I wonder which one he would pick, right? If we did a blind test of like, here's all the contracts that were given out in free agency. I'm not going to tell you who signed who, though. Which one would you pick the most? Would he go with McGlinchey?
Well,
that's a fair question. Now, Orlando Brown never made sense because he wanted to stay at left tackle. So you can kind of cross him off the list pretty much. But Juwan Taylor, $20 million a season, $7.5 million less. Maybe McGarry was just like destined to stay in ATL, so that was never an option for him, although the Bears were interested in him.
Yeah, I think McGarry just kind of realized he wasn't going to get as much money as he wanted for, one good season of basketball. By the way, quick side note, the Nerds are scaring Arizona.
Do you guys want good trivia? Did you hear my trivia earlier?
Yes.
Okay,
I looked at you and I said the correct answer, and then you gave the credit to Nick.
I honestly didn't hear you. I'm sorry. I really didn't. I heard Nick. I'm sorry.
That's tough.
Well, that's not good AFX Apocalypse. We got to get a doctor over there. Trivia. Oh, there are 8 Ivy League schools. 6 have made the NCAA Modern Tournament. Only 1 has never won a tournament game that's made the tournament. Any guesses? I'll give you guys some time in the chat to kind of think about that one. I love trivia.
First person to get it right gets the shout out.
Jay Sauer, Powers was the best signing. We're 4 likes away, by the way, from another shot here. 3 likes away. Can we get there? 3 people to like the video. Come on. Yale, no, not Yale. Remember when Yale beat Baylor? How does Yale out-rebound Baylor? Well,
so you see, the thing is
they
when
missed the shot.
When they miss the shot, the ball goes up in the air,
and you
got to go up and catch it. So they got more of those than we did.
All-time great moment.
That's a great quote. Who said that again?
It was a Prince, right?
No, it wasn't Isaiah Prince.
I think like Tayshaun Prince?
Oh, yeah. Tayshaun Prince.
Yeah. Oh, we got 155 likes. Let's go. I'll take a shot.
The verbatim answer was,
how does Yale out-rebound Baylor?
He goes, so you go up and grab the ball off the rim when it comes off, and then you grab it with 2 hands, and then you come down with it. That's considered a rebound. So they got more of those than we did.
Cheers to Baylor's rebounding efforts.
Arizona's only up 3, 5 minutes to go.
Oh, boy.
Princeton, Nerds.
Okay. Princeton, definitely Nerds. 5-point game. We'll hang out with you guys for the rest of this game, I think. 4.5 minutes left. Yeah, let's do that. That'll keep us from doing work elsewhere, so not too shabby of a plan, I think.
I'm game for that.
Yeah, let's do that. That's a good plan. So Kenny likes the Mike McGlinchey signing. Sam, do you like the Mike McGlinchey signing?
I think that was just off of sheer quality, the combination of quality of player in need, and I just threw the question up to get your votes in on what you think was the favorite signing so far. I think he's the best signing in terms of quality, in terms of value, and in terms of need. We knew he was going to wind up getting a bag. Like, that was kind of irrelevant. We knew the Broncos were going to have to outbid somebody if they wanted to.
Yes, they'd have to overpay.
Exactly.
And that's free agency.
That's the market of free agency, yeah. But you're getting, I'm getting Billy Turner and Cam Fleming PTSD just thinking about Mike McGlinchey right now.
Someone today was asking me like, hey, my team is looking at Billy Turner. How was he last year? And I was like, walk away. Just walk away. It's not going to end well. But my number one free agent dream was signing Mike McGlinchey for this team. So they got that done. I can't complain. I cannot. So with that, the answer, by the way, not Harvard. Harvard's won games before. Brown's made the tournament. Dartmouth and Columbia have never made it. So Brown is the only team to make the tournament for the Ivy League, but not win a tournament game. I thought that was kind of interesting.
They're too nerdy. Mm-hmm. That's why they always miss the tournament.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Kareem Hunt, maybe. Okay, that actually raises a good point. Let's throw up Samaje Perine stats. I think we have those, Sam. I don't know if I'm the only one who feels this way, but am I the only one that thinks he should not be just handed the RB1 job? Like I know he went to Oklahoma, but guys, he's a backup running back for his career. He's 26, 27 years old. It's a bit bizarre.
I 1,000% agree with you. I think that Samaje Perine is a very good pass protecting back.
Right, and he might be like for example, Jarrett McKinnon was a backup running back.
In general, too.
Yeah, Jarrett McKinnon, backup running back, gets a chance, gets hurt. I don't know if I've ever seen anything from Perine. It's like, now that guy deserves twice the touches.
I'm trying to think of the team.
J.D. Phillips.
We'll pull that up.
Wrap up your thought, though, Sam.
The Cowboys this last year, there were times where Zeke played fullback out of the I formation.
Yeah.
Like, that's something Samaje Perine, I think, could do as well. Like, he's a good blocker. He's not gonna be their leading rusher. If he is, I think something's gone wrong. But even I, as an Oklahoma fan and alum, can understand that. He's gonna be a good locker room guy, though, too, and just a hard worker. So.
I think this Samaje Perine signing tells me two things. They're gonna draft a running back, and they're optimistic about Javonte Williams' return. Otherwise, I think they would have gone for a David Montgomery, Miles Sanders, Kareem Hunt type of player.
I feel like I've seen so many mixed reports, though, about Javonte Williams. Like, some people think he could be back. Or I think they said they were hopeful to get him back at some point during the season.
Right.
And we've heard buzz that it's like, hey, expect for him to be out the entire year. Mm-hmm. The Broncos are almost preparing for him to be out. Maybe they go out and draft a running back again.
I think they very well may.
Mid rounds, day 2, early day 3. There's some decent names there in the middle rounds. I think that's something worth looking at. And a lot of those guys are out of the backfield playmakers too, a similar kind of style to what Javonte Williams brings.
J.D. Phillips with a $10 super chat. Let's go, J.D. When do you think Denver will pull the trigger on a wide receiver trade? Probably at a very inconvenient time for me, right? That's the cliche journalism thing of course they made a move when I was in my car. But actually, though, I could see it being one of two ways. Either in the next 72 hours, as teams decide, hey, how do we want to address a wide receiver room? Well, the free agent market's starting to dry up. So if our free agent wide receiver targets are gone, we turn to trade. Okay, if they decide not to, then maybe it's the middle of the first round draft. That's like A.J. Brown, Marquise Brown. I think it's going to be one of those two right there.
I've made an executive decision in honor of J.D. Phillips.
Shout
out to that. $10 now.
Let's go. Oh, we got Kenny with a $5 super chat. We're also at a very even $25 right now. No
That's
cents
good.
or anything.
I like that.
There we go.
But yeah,
fireball shots.
$10 fireball shots.
That's a good call, Sam. So, Cannonball's coming your way here for JD's $10 super chat. That's a fireball shot. The issue is Shay is flying to my girlfriend Phoenix tonight.
Oh, I love Phoenix.
Yeah, my girlfriend Shay, not Phoenix. But tornadoes going on in Dallas. So
right
yeah, that's not a window thing. Hardcore black outside. Okay, Cannonball time. Ooh. See? Cheers to you, JD. Thank you so much for the super chat. Kenny will throw yours on in just a moment here. AFX Apocalypse says Samaje Perine is better than Joe Mixon. Fight me about that. I know someone who would fight, and that would be Joe Mixon, but maybe.
Different joke for a different day.
Oh, okay. Too soon?
That's incorrect. I think if Samaje Perine was not at the University of Oklahoma in the same backfield as Joe Mixon, I actually talked to my friend about this last night. I think Joe Mixon would have gone down as one of the best OU running backs in history. Obviously, off the field concerns aside, but off of sheer talent, he's one of the most talented backs that program has had.
We got a super chat coming in from Kenny. We'll throw that on screen. JD, to really answer your question, I think it's gonna be a draft trade if it doesn't happen over this weekend. So that's my window right there. I don't think early April you're gonna see a trade. You know what I mean? $5 super chat from Kenny. I love the show, guys. Thanks, but I think we need more for the run game unless Pookie is going to be ready. That's what I've been saying for a while, Kenny. I don't know how long you've been watching the show, but I have said the plan should be you should prepare to not have Javonte Williams for 2023. He had a major knee injury in October, similar to J.K. Dobbins, who suffered it in August. He did not return until late September, even early October. And even when he did return, he had to get a second surgery like 2 weeks later. So if it's going to be 13 months for Javonte, we go from October to this upcoming November-ish. We're talking weeks 8 through 10 now. And if he's a shell of himself and not 100% and it's a long recovery, you might end up just shutting him down for the whole season rather than tossing him out there for the last 2 games. Princeton takes the lead with less than 2 minutes to go, baby. Okay. You guys are watching with me right now. This is pretty fun. March Madness. It's madness. You love it. You love it. But Kenny, thank you very much for the super chat. Really appreciate the kind words. Cheers to you, dude. Oh, Arizona. Jump ball coming. They're down 1. I really thought about picking Princeton, but I ultimately decided, no, Arizona's going to win this game here. AFX Apocalypse, I did not. I had my trivia league last night. She was not very happy when she found that out, though. But I did win my trivia game, so I think it was worth it. So let's run through the Jerry Jeudy trade buzz. I've had one too many fireball shots, and the alliterations, they can be tough. Real quick. Oh, PJ Locke's re-signing. That just happened? Okay, so maybe we splice this on from the start of the other cut? I think we could do that. Yeah, why not? We got the. You want to get the stats in the depth chart, and we'll just leave it at that. It's about 30 seconds. I'm still mad Melvin Gordon fumbled himself into a Super Bowl ring. That is one of the most fraudulent Super Bowl rings ever, but at least he admitted it. Okay, here we go. Princeton with the ball. Shooting. No. Arizona with the rebound. Okay. Wildcats up the court. Arkansas is absolutely taking it to Illinois right now. That's good. I think I picked Arkansas across the board in my 2 brackets. This year I really downgraded to just 2. No OBJ. The Broncos need to bring in a wide receiver that can block. Yeah. Oh, I keep stepping on my stupid cord. I don't think OBJ really fits what they want to do on offense, but it is OBJ. So never a bad idea to add OBJ to anything, in my opinion. There you go. So PJ Locke re-signing with the Broncos. Just give me a second here. I want to look up one thing about him because I'm curious. Okay. I always forget that him and Caden Stearns went to college together.
You went to Texas?
Yeah, I know.
I had no idea.
Right.
I watched him play several times, it looks like.
Yeah. I always remember Caden Stearns, Texas. I'm like, but PJ Locke, where did he go? Like, oh, he also went to Texas. All right, so let's talk about PJ Locke for just a brief second here, and then we'll sort of wrap up the show as Arizona might be getting outed from a 15 seed here, okay? We've got some Jerry Jeudy trade rumors to get to in just a quick moment, but first, this across the wire right after we filmed the Jerry Jeudy trade talk, and that is PJ Locke re-signing with the Broncos. 2019 pick out of Texas. He's always been a special teamer, 3rd, 4th safety, closer to 4th off the depth chart. But I got no real qualms with this. It's going to be a training camp battle. I don't think you should pencil PJ Locke in as an absolute lock, no pun intended, to make this roster. Last year, filling in when Caden Stearns and Justin Simmons got hurt, 22 tackles, 1 pass breakup. Here's how the safety room currently looks at this present moment. Justin Simmons, Caden Stearns, Delaren Turner-Yell, and PJ Locke all re-signed. K-Jack is a free agent. I don't think they'll re-sign him, but I didn't think they'd re-sign him last year, so maybe if they miss out on a certain guy named C.J. Gardner-Johnson, they decide to run it back, but truth be told, I'd rather have Caden Stearns start anyway. But that's the news right there. PJ Locke re-signing. Don't have the contract details, but I'm going to guess 1 year, vet minimum. It's going to be a training camp battle. He's not a lock to make this roster or anything like that. But another Broncos free agent signing. So I'm going to throw it back to old me. We're going to travel back in time and talk about the Jerry Jeudy trade buzz right now.
All right, Princeton's got the ball with 30 seconds left, up 1, 15 seconds left on the shot clock.
Okay.
Backing it down.
For 3, no. They check it down.
Oh,
Go to the block. There's a foul. He's shooting free throws. Up 1, shooting free throws with 21 seconds. Oh, I feel so bad for Arizona. Unpopular opinion, I like upsets to a certain level. Not when you're like a 1, 2, or 3 seed.
Yeah.
It's like you were way too good all year to just have one bad day ruin the season. March Madness is the most fun way to declare a champion. It is definitely not the best team in college basketball that year.
But
It's not.
You got to be able to go undefeated for a month-long stretch. That's not easy to do.
Okay, I'm going to racial profile a white Ivy League guy at the free throw line. 90% free throw shooter.
Gotta be.
You have to. That's the only reason you're
Unless
there, dude.
he's tall. Is he tall?
That's a big fat ring right there for that lady. Good size.
Yeah.
Okay, second free throw up
2
and
for
good.
2.
All right, down 3 with 20 seconds. Go for the quick 2 or shoot the 3. I think go for the quick 2.
They're running motion
But
offense.
now they're taking too much time. Now they go to the hoop. Nope. Now you gotta go for a 3.
That's
Oh, what an awful 3.
What are they doing?
Gets the rebound, finds it. 8 seconds. Another 3. No good. Princeton's gonna win.
Oh my
Princeton's gonna win. 2 awful 3-point attempts by Arizona. Wow.
This is
Unbelievable.
crazy.
The Ivy League, the nerds, shock the biggest party school. Wow. Hey, I just looked at
watched Stuart Feiner, by the way, great follow on Twitter, Stuart Feiner with Barstool.
Yeah.
He literally goes, Arizona just got bounced in the first round by some nerds. Princeton just dropped their Ivy League nuts on America.
I looked at Biden's
Wow.
bracket today. Do you want to guess who he had winning the whole thing?
He had Arizona.
He had Arizona.
He had Arizona winning the whole thing over Kansas.
Yikes. Ouchie. Okay.
tough.
I have Purdue winning in my bracket as well, actually.
Wow.
Tyler's heading through Knoxville, Tennessee. I think it's pretty clear that's where I went to college.
Oh, he bricked it.
There you go.
Oh, no, he made it. He got real lucky there.
It was 1-1. Yeah, that was a chance. So Princeton's won. Princeton advanced. I really I know no one likes this guy. I really wanted to pick Princeton in my bracket. I wish I wasn't a coward and I did it.
Dude.
Damn.
How are you one of the top 10 teams in the country for the entire year, and then you just don't show up in the first round?
Yep. Okay. Let's throw JD's super chat on screen.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I forgot. I meant to put that
He
one
bricks
on.
the second free throw. It doesn't matter.
The nerds are dancing.
59-55 final.
The nerds are dancing.
Unbelievable. JD, love the show. Real quick, what a better move. What's a better move? Draft a running back or college or college free agent? Wow. What am I missing here, Sam? Collage free agent? Oh, like put together a running back committee.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you can have a running back committee with a rookie running back in it. I think it's going to be Samaje Perine. There's no one else on this roster I want touching the football. There's no one, they've got some other like practice squad guys who are technically on futures carried over to the 90-man. No. So if I'm starting from scratch, Samaje Perine, Latavius Murray, and a rookie, and you hope Javonte Williams does come back like week 7 or 8, that could be your best plan of attack right there. So,
By the way, power move by one of the Arizona players. What's the word? Stuffing the camera. Like shunning, puts the hand in the camera lens. That's reserved for people who have made it to the professional.
Stiff arming.
He stiff-armed the camera.
Stiff-armed the camera.
He shunned the man.
Okay. All right. That's probably going to do it for us on today's show. I'm going to want to get this PJ Lockery signing out there. So, hey, if you tuned in and you've hung out with us for the last hour or so, hour and 20 minutes, really appreciate you kicking it, hanging out with us. We'll put 90 seconds on the clock right now. If we get a super chat in 90 seconds, we'll keep going here. But if not, we'll sign off and get back to some other responsibilities for free agency at Chat Sports. First NCAA win since 1998. Wow. So putting the timer on right now. If we get a super chat in the next 90 seconds, we'll keep it going. If not, we'll have to bounce on out of here.
You
What's
know
up?
who? You know who also took Arizona?
Who?
The man who signs our paychecks.
Oh, to win it all?
Yep.
Oh, that was an awful
He
move.
sent a screenshot in there. Unless this is someone else, but yeah, he put Arizona over Texas. Also a terrible pick.
So I guess to wrap it up, I'll part you with these takes. Would I trade Jerry Jeudy for a first?
Just say yes.
Yeah.
The hesitation means yes.
Yes, you're absolutely
That's
right.
exactly what you told me.
Kenny with a $5 super. Okay.
The show goes on.
Show goes on. Yeah, you're right. Because I used to say no. But now I am buying into if he's not fitting what you want to do offensively and he's not a clear number one receiver, then maybe you do take a first and you do draft a new receiver who hopefully can be a clear-cut number one after 3 seasons. $5 super chat. Keep it going. Kenny, you're the man. Cheers to you. Can we get to $50 in super chats? We're $15 away. Who wants to drop their Princeton-sized nuts down and get us to $50 in super chats?
I'll take another shot if we do.
Sam Brown's offering another one for a $50. If we reach $50 in super chats, we're $15 away. I guess at the end of the day, I've changed my mind. You do have to trade. Well, maybe you do trade. I wouldn't do Jeudy for a second and a player if I'm Denver. I just think that's probably not the best option.
At that point, it's just that much more of a crapshoot when you're talking
Right,
about the draft.
and it's like, it's not like Jeudy is bad. You know what I mean? So I think it's a first or nothing. I really do. Garrett, don't worry. If you get super chat, no hard feelings, nothing, anything like that at all. We got 115 people hanging out with us. That's awesome here. Broncos season says Jeudy for a second and a fourth. Probably not. Probably needs to be a second and a player that's proven a little bit. Like if it's Dallas or say Chicago, for example, a second, and who do they have that Denver could be interested in? No one. They were awful last year. They don't have a center. They don't have anyone on the defensive line. They got a guy named Dominic Robinson. Dominique Robinson. Second-year player out of Miami, Ohio. He had some good moments his rookie year. Denver does need help on the defensive line, I think. Like Shelby Harris coming back would be pretty cool. So that's kind of my best guess right there. But outside of that, I think it's probably going to be a first. If I'm the Ravens, why aren't you trading for Jerry Jeudy? Right? I think you should if you're Baltimore.
Do you want to take a guess at what percentage of brackets are still perfect?
I'm going to go with 0.8.
0.8?
Yeah.
Lower.
I thought 0.8 was pretty cool too. 0.2?
0.12% of
Wow.
brackets are still perfect.
That's the best stat every year, is that after the first day,
Yeah,
they're
so-
all busted.
Social media teams just go bananas over those.
Uh-huh. AFX Apocalypse, I know it's not because you don't even like basketball. You admitted that earlier. You can't get me with that stuff there. Kenny, is there anyone in the draft as good as Jeudy? That's a great question that I think Kenny raises. I think you can make the argument that Zay Flowers and Jackson Smith and Jigba could be as good as Jeudy. Quentin Johnston, I don't know how well he translates to the modern NFL with speed being so important, but man, he's a really good football player. Other receivers that jump out, what's his face from USC at Pitt? He transferred?
Jordan Addison.
Jordan Addison, thank you. That's an option.
I just block everything USC. from
Jordan
my brain.
Addison scores a lot of touchdowns. At some point, and Jalen Hyatt and Josh Downs, Denver doesn't pick till round 3. Maybe George Payton is itching to get earlier in the draft, reset the clock a little bit, you know what I mean? So he gets a rookie receiver for another couple of seasons, whereas with Jeudy, 2 more years. If you get a guy in round 2, that's 4, so 2 extra years. Possibly. Okay. I'll put the shot clock back on. If we get a super chat in the next 90 seconds, we'll keep it going. But it's got to be as much as $5 from Kenny Albert. That's where the Kenny Albert. Abeda? I hope I pronounced that right. Otherwise, we'll have to sign off. Do you trade the devil you know, the devil you don't know? I like it. I'm a Twitter guy. If you want to reach out to me, hit me up on Twitter. That's the best way to get in contact with me. It's a free app. Pretty easy. Just sign up. Pretty cool spot if you haven't checked it out already. So if you like the free content, make sure to like the video, by the way. We got 182 likes right now. We'll keep the shot clock moving. We're at 40 seconds. If we get to 90, we'll have to sign off and get on out of here, unfortunately. Trade Judy and a fourth for D-Hop. Ooh, that's interesting. I could see the Cardinals saying maybe, right? Because they're like, we get a younger receiver.
I think I would do that.
It's hard to say no to DeAndre Hopkins ever.
No, actually, I don't think I would.
Judy and a fourth for D-Hop. Then you're down to 4 picks in the draft. Again, I would do that. How about this? I would do that if Russell Wilson was awesome last year.
Yeah.
And it's like championship window, go get a for sure proven receiver and not hope that Judy takes a big step.
Yeah,
because I don't think they're in a championship window, then what's D-Hop going to do? He's going to be like he was on the Cardinals last year, right? He's not going to bring wins necessarily.
You've just got, I think I would say no. I think.
AFX Apocalypse, DM me on Twitter then. All right, we crossed 90 seconds. Kenny put the team on his back once. He can only do it so many times. So we'll sign off and get on out of here. It was awesome hanging out with you guys. Really appreciate everyone who took time out of their day, tuned in, and hung out. And that's why you got to subscribe if you're not already. One last push right here to hit that sub button. Help us grow this channel. Help us reach the next milestone, 13,000 subscribers. For Sam Brown and myself, I'll see you guys later with more Broncos free agency news and rumors all week long.